Hey crafty friends, guess what time it is? That's right, it's paper pumpkin time. This is September 2025 and it's fall for toil and it is such a fantastic kit. We had so much fun with it. Let's head down to the crafting table and let me show you this kit. Now, the two things I want to focus on is we love this kit because we get to make alternatives. We get to extend what they give you. And look at the stamps that they gave you. Oh my goodness. I'm going to show you how we use this to mask off our pumpkins and put these leaves behind. So pretty. Another tip I want to give you for this kit is they give you some beautiful envelopes. And you may not want to cut this off even though it's a beautiful scene, right? That's upside down. Let's show that the right way. But I have a tip for you. Go ahead and just make a copy of it. We all have color printers, and that way you can keep those beautiful envelopes, but you can also make some scraps for a beautiful card that I'm going to show you. You're going to love it. So let's do this. We are going to make one card together, and then I'm going to show you 4 cards, and then we're going to make the second card together, and I'm going to show you 4 more cards. So you are going to have 10 alternatives that you can make with this kit. But if you don't have the kit, use with any kit. Use with your supplies. Have fun with these designs. Our first design is going to be like a flap card. This is 7 1/4 by 5 1/2, and you're going to score it at 3. But don't worry about this because if you head on over to creativemomentsbyg.com, we will have the measurements for this card. Now, I want to remind you, the other cards, we will have a link below this video that takes you to the YouTube channel so you can see how they're made. But what we did is we took what they gave us and we just cut this down because they gave us this really nice punch out right here. Look at that. We went ahead and we cut it down and we created a couple mats. So let's go ahead and lay these down. This is just our beautiful brown or early espresso cardstock. This goes so beautifully with this kit and these colors. Now we're going to add some yellow or darling duckling cardstock, and we mainly did this because the punch out that they gave us wasn't very large and we needed to get some mats on there to bring it down just a little bit. So let's go ahead and lay this down now. That is a beautiful scene. Just a little bit of glue goes a long way. Now let me tell you another tip that I did with this scene. I had to cut the middle out right here. I cut a little strip out to make it shorter in height. So you can also do that when you're thinking about how to add your scene. Look at that. We added a few little yellow stalks, so we used our blends on that. Now the next thing that we're going to do is we just took one of the cards that they gave us and we cut the card apart. So let's add this strip right down here at the bottom. Let's open this up. And this is just to give it more definition. Just put this right at the bottom. And we're making sure that we have the same margin side to side and bottom. I use this wet glue because it lets me wiggle. And if you use a tape runner, it's going to grab it right away. Look at that. Now you could add a layer onto this if you wanted to, but I don't think we need to. We already have quite a few layers, but we're not done yet because I wanted to create a little flap right here, just because it adds some cuteness to it. Now, you can, because we used wet glue, we can lift this up just a little bit and I can slip it underneath. Or you can remember to add it before you glue it down. But that's why I like the wet glue. It allows me to do that. Now on this, I'm going to go ahead and use a tape runner because I just want it to stick right away underneath that wet glue. So I'm going to turn it this way, fold that back, and just slide it underneath this mat before I really tuck it down, just like that. And look at that. It just, because I used wet glue, allowed me to just lift it up and place it underneath. Now I'm going to go ahead and bring in my bone folder, give it a good crease. And you know, these colors also are very masculine, right? So they're very pretty. Now the next thing we want to do is, once again, we used part of the card, and we're just going to add that right on top. I'm going to get a little bit of my wet glue. Add that right on top. And now look at what I've done. I have created a diamond. I just have a square, and I used one of our embossing folders just to give it more dimension. I'm going to set this up on some dimensionals, and this is one of the stamps that came with the kit. Now, let me give you a little tip. Remember, this is a square, but we want to place it as a diamond. So make sure that when you go to stamp your sentiment, you have it placed as a diamond. And here we go, just like that. And now we're going to add it right on the front. Look how pretty that is. Now, we want it to go ahead and stick, so I'm just going to add some tape right there on the flap. I'm going to line it up, making sure that the point is right in the middle and that it's straight. And there we have our first card. Oh my goodness, we love this design. It's just a cute little flap, but this also comes up. You have plenty of room to write. Just a great design for a card. Now let me show you 4 more alternatives to go with group 1. Look at this. We used our Cajun Craze cardstock. That's kind of a burnt orange. We cut out an oval. We cut out another oval in white, and then we just shaded the edges with our ink and our blending brushes. We cut out, they had little punched out pumpkins. We stamped that, added the leaves that they gave us behind. But what makes this card so special? Look at how cute that is. We used one of their cards. We added the little fox. We have a surprise top fold card inside, but there's more. Look at this. We copied those envelopes and then we cut scraps or strips and we laid them down. That almost looks like inlaid wood, doesn't it? So pretty. And this is just a typical Z fold, but we added the note card, that beautiful cover on the note card, and then we just did almost like inlaid wood, but it's inlaid scraps. Here is another card. Now this is an accordion card. We will have a link below so you can see this being made. And look at that, it opens up. But there's a surprise here also. Now look at how we cut apart that tree. We just cut it out of the frame and added it right to the front. Look at the surprise. We have a hidden note card inside. Look at that, where you can write your message. So cute. Now let's look at another one. We decided to use that picture that they gave us. Now look at the difference. Do you see how much prettier it looks when you add some pop of color? And we just used our pumpkin pie or our orange on this. And it just really makes a difference. Look at that. So pretty. We added our little fox right here up on a dimensional. We sparkled him up a little bit. I don't know if you can see that we sparkled him, as well as our cornstalk. Now, what we did to set this up, we used a piece of foam. Now, you can get foam at a dollar store very inexpensively, but what makes foam so special is when you put it in your embossing machine to get it cut, you might think it didn't cut it, but it actually did. Do you see that line right there? Foam, you typically have to tear, and it tears wherever you ran it through the machine with your die. So just remember that so you don't think it didn't work. And then you open it up, and we have some strips right here from the envelopes, and we have our area to write. And that, once again, is the stamp set that they gave us in the kit. Now there's 4 samples. Look at this final one. We wanted to bring in some additional colors, and so we brought in blue. Look at this triple diamond. Oh my goodness. And it stands up just perfectly on your desktop, but look at that. Now here, we went ahead and we brought in the coordinating pattern paper that we sell. And this is what it looks like. Just because it's a little brighter than the cards that they sent us. But everything else is from the kit. We use Night of Navy cardstock. And then if you look on the back, we've added 2 panels where you can write your message. You can also add decoration to these panels. But just to make it more dramatic, we left it just blue. And look how pretty that is. Now you might wonder, how in the world do you send this in the mail? Very easy. You flatten it out and you just take this and fold it back and fold this one back, and it folds just perfectly to go in an envelope. You open it back up, and there we have it. Here is group 1. What do you think? Take a moment right now and leave a comment below this video. We want to know which one is your favorite in group 1. We could not believe how lovely they turned out. They're just so pretty, we think. Let us know what you think. Now, are you ready for group 2? Let's make our card together. This particular card, you're going to start with a top fold, and you're going to need to cut a mechanism. Once again, we're going to have the link below that shows you exactly what to do. Notice how this has several score lines on it, and we need to decorate the front of the card. So we have taken some pecan pie. We ran it through the embossing machine. We're going to go ahead and just lay this down with our wet glue. Now this is 3D embossing folder, so make sure you have enough glue to really get in those crevices. And we're just going to center it top to bottom, side to side to make sure that it's even. And now we have used one of our die cuts to cut out this beautiful circle. Look at that. Let's get that decorated. We took one of their punched out leaves, one of their punched out little pumpkins that they gave us, and also they gave us thankful. Now we are going to set this up just like this, right in the center, and we're going to set it up on dimensionals. Right in the center, just like that. Next, we're going to put our pumpkins there, but we need to put our thankful on our pumpkins. Now, you could put it like that, but it's really going to just take away from the pumpkins. So let me show you a little trick. We cut a little slit right there in the pumpkins, and we are going to bring in our silicone mat, and we're going to put just a little bitty piece of tape right there on the center pumpkin. We're going to open that up, and we're just going to slip this under, because it can only slip under just a tiny bit. Just like that. Now you don't even notice it, but it slipped under just a little bit. Now to hold that, Let's go ahead and turn it over. And let's just add a little bit of tape right there to hold it in place. Now we are going to set it up on dimensionals. Just add it about right there. Look how pretty that looks. So pretty. Let's add it to the front of our card. You can add it on dimensionals or you can add it flat. I'm going to go ahead and just lay it flat because we already have some layers going on right there. So let's just add some tape. Get it centered top to bottom, side to side. And now we are going to add our mechanism on the front. And the way we do that, we're going to take this bottom panel and we are going to line it up just like that at the bottom, making sure that we have the same margins side to side and bottom. So let's go ahead and use our wet glue so that we can wiggle. So we are just laying this down just like this. Once we have it, we're going to push it down. Now the next thing, since we've already made these score lines and we've creased them, we are just going to fold this down just like this and only add glue to this bottom panel. That is going to create our little box that we want that is like a shelf. Now, fold this over, hold it for just a second, and now look, when you open it up, you're going to have that little shelf. Look at that. Do you see that? And now all we need to do is decorate it. So what we're doing is we are bringing in a bunch of these leaves that they gave us. This is the main one, but we need a few more little leaves on the side. So we are just going to add those right here, just like that. What I want to do is set this one up on one dimensional, couple dimensionals. We are going to set this just like this. So we have one leaf, and now we just need to add a few more leaves. So I can just kind of hook them right here, making sure that we don't go past this line. So I'm going to put just a little bit of glue right here. That's going to allow me to wiggle it into place. And the reason I waited until now is I wanted to make sure it did not go over this area right here because it needs to stay within the card. Now the next one we're just going to put over here just like that. And now we have our beautiful leaves, and all we need to do is add our pumpkin and our warm wishes. And we're going to add it just like this. Now, once again, we can make our little slit. And now we have our inside. So here is the outside, so pretty, thankful. You open it up, has a little shelf, and it says warm wishes. Are you ready for our second group? Here we have our top fold with the shelf. We cut a diagonal portrait-sized card. We added a square to it, we stamped 2 of those beautiful pumpkins that came with the kit, added thankful. This is the one that we masked the pumpkins and we stamped the leaves behind it. Those leaves turned out so pretty. And then we have a surprise. You open it up and we have a note card. Look at that, so easy to create. Here is another one. Now on this one, you want to make sure that you cut this strip and then emboss it. If you run it through again when you're cutting this circle, it's going to squish your embossing. So look how we did the corner right here, so pretty. We cut out a circle, added a frame. This is part of the card, and you open it up. And we have another note card inside. So cute and just so easy to create. Next, we have just a panel card. Look at this. We put our little fox right here. This opens up and his tail is what allows you to hook it shut. How cute is that? When you want to shut it, you just close it and close his little tail over it. Now, once again, we added some color to the corn stalks to really just make it pop. And let me show you the difference. Do you see the difference in those pictures? Just adding a little bit of additional color really makes it pop. Now, look what we did. Once we added that little note card on the front, we added it to the front of a landscape card just to make it an extra special card. And finally, we created this card. Now look at this. You open it up, you have a place to write. So pretty. It's just on a mat. We embossed these side panels, but oh my goodness. Look at how cute that is. So this is group 2. Take a moment and leave a comment. Let us know what you think. Well, we hope you enjoyed these alternatives, and we hope that you were inspired and realize you don't need this kit for these 10 designs. You can use what you have. Well, we sure would appreciate it if we earned your like and share and also your hype points. We had so much fun creating these alternatives for you. Until next time, Madi and I wish you lots of creative moments. Bye-bye.